Happy holidays, everyone. And if you don't celebrate Christmas or any of the holidays around Christmas time, then I just hope you're having a great day. I'm your host, Ostrich Vox. 2016 was an amazing year for Steven Universe. We ended Season 2, went through the entirety of Season 3, and began Season 4. And while there's a lot of big plot advancements coming in the upcoming months, with the upcoming Steven Bomb 5 at the end of January, so much happened this year in Steven Universe. So much character development, plot revelations, and a lot of faces popped up, old and new. So I want to go through my own personal list of top 10 episodes that aired in the year 2016 of Steven Universe. Without further ado, let's get into it. Coming in at number 10 is The Answer. This is the episode that opened up 2016, with Steven's birthday bomb, a bomb that changed the entire course of the show. The Answer was the origins of Garnet, our favorite fusion, as we saw the story of how Ruby and Sapphire met, the trials and tribulations they endured, our very first peek at a diamond, Blue Diamond at that. We had a glimpse of Rose and Pearl in action during the war, how Homeworld reacted to the first fusion between two gems, all sprinkled with great art and animation, some very stylistic choices in some aspects, vibrant colors, beautiful backgrounds, and possible peeks at Homeworld gems we might see later on in the series. And who could forget that adorable song? Overall, this was just a splendid way to start Steven Universe in 2016. Not only did it make me feel really warm inside, but it established the diamonds. For real this time. And original Garnet looks sick.
Why am I so sure that I'd rather be this than everything I was supposed to be?
Coming in at number 9, Monster Reunion. One of the most anticipated episodes of Season 3. Just by the title alone, we knew it would be the return of Centipede, but we weren't really sure how. And leading up to the episode, we saw that Steven attempted to heal her, but her fate not being shown until the actual episode. Monster Reunion followed up on everybody's favorite corrupted gem, Centipede. When Steven regains his healing powers, he convinces Garnet to use it on Centi, although it doesn't work all the way. This is also our first real introduction to how the minds of corrupted gems work. That corruption is more than just a physical thing, but it's more of a mental thing. We got some insight on the gem war, and some solid confirmation that the diamonds were behind the corruption light. What was really effective of this episode was its storytelling. Centipede couldn't speak, so she illustrated her memories. And we got how the gem war looked through basically children crayon scribbles. But it still made an impact, it was still powerful. And Centipede's breakdown, her reversion back to her corrupted form, was truly heartbreaking. It was a dark moment, but it somewhat worked out in the end, with a bittersweet ending of her reuniting with her crew. Bits of lore, emotional impacts, and the return of a fan favorite, this episode showcases some of the show's best aspects, especially with its storytelling, how much it can accomplish in a 12-minute segment. I hope Centipede gets healed up soon. I hope in the near future Centipede can be healed and we have her on the show as a more reoccurring character.
And I'm sorry.
Coming in at number 8, Crack the Whip. This episode was pure fan service, not that kind. Coming off the heels of Gem Hunt, we'd kind of have this ominous vibe throughout the entire episode, even though it was just Amethyst goofing around. Considering how the last episode ended and how the episode began with Garnet and Pearl looking for Jasper, we knew Jasper would appear in this episode. We knew that the first half was just kind of build-up. And we learned more about how Amethyst feels about battle and combat, her mindset. In actual battle, you won't be thinking, oh, what was my training? You're going to be thinking quick on your toes. Therefore, she doesn't see the importance of training. And while we got some really funny moments and some really groovy music during that montage, which was really nice to just see Amethyst, Steven, Connie, and even Lion hanging out, it all reached a boiling point when Jasper shows up with a corrupted gem army of 2, declaring war against Steven. This time, it's personal, but why? Not only does this establish that Jasper has a really strong vendetta against Rose, something that would not be entirely revealed until Earthlings and Back to the Moon, but it led to one of the most series' hypest moments. Stevonnie versus Jasper, and Stevonnie wielding the sword and shield, riding Lion. Something fans have been anticipating for a long time, something we wouldn't even think we would get until Yellow Diamond. The music is amazing, and while the art is kind of abnormal, Stevonnie's cheeks looking especially chubby, it did not take away from the awesome kick-ass vibe that moment gave us. We got to see more of Jasper's mental deterioration, and had us wonder, what the hell is she exactly planning? She wants a war, but what kind of war? How far is it gonna go? Raising many questions, getting excited for the future, while still fulfilling our fan needs, this episode did its job. And it's definitely a standout from the other episodes that aired this year.
Jaspers, keep going until we get what we want.
I guess she lives in the ocean now.
Number 7, Super Watermelon Island. Something fans wanted to see more of in Steven Universe is its action scenes, embrace its anime influences. And we've been teased with so many fight scenes that only last a few seconds. 2 minutes tops at best. While Malachi did kind of come out of the blue and kind of ruined the pacing of the cluster arc, this episode still gave us 2 of our favorite fusions back, Malachi and Alexandrite, leading to an epic battle that took up most of the episode, something fans have been dying for a very long time. Not only was this our longest battle in the series yet, but it was a dynamic one. We had Alexandrite use all the gem's weapons, even though I was expecting her to bust out one of her own. While Alexandrite, and by extension the crystal gems, still have some trouble working together, staying together, it still shows how far they come without Rose. Even when they're on the ropes, they are able to defeat Malachi and save the day. The return of the Watermelon Stevens, and even though it wasn't much, still managed to contribute to the battle. This is definitely the strongest season opener so far, even if it wasn't produced as such. Led to the reintroduction of Jasper and Lapis, and definitely set the bar for action sequences in Steven Universe. I feel like it's gonna be a while till we get something of this quality again. Well, quality in length. There's an episode on this list that does have a better action sequence, although it's very short.
You two should spend some time apart.
Coming in at number 6, Bismuth. This was one of the most long-awaited episodes of one of the most long-awaited gems, Bismuth. One of the most popular fan theories that came true, and also had some cringy theories on the way. The show's first half-hour special, Steven finally pops the bubble in Lion's Mane, awakening a gem previously thought to be lost in time. And while Steven gets long credit first, we all know how it goes. But let me tell you, the Crewniverse brought their absolute A-game for this episode. The art, the animation, the music, everything in this episode was on a 10. We got to learn that Rose isn't as perfect as Steven thought, establishing the show's second arc that would run in the background from here up until Bubble. It shows that not all crystal gems have the same morals, the same values. It showed that war isn't pretty, and the long-lasting effects it can have on people. And while I do hope Bismuth can be redeemed, because when she was around, she was a really fun character. There were moments where it felt like she was a part of the crew the entire time. And that's an incredible skill a writer can have. To have a character work so well that, despite only being on screen for 5 minutes, it felt like she could have been in any other episode, that this wasn't her debut. A lot of people's favorites for Season 3, Bismuth is definitely going to be remembered for a long time. And that sparring scene was pretty great too, although I don't really like Pearl's weapon upgrade. The Trident just seems kind of impractical, but hey, so do other things on the show. Although the crew really wanted to, they would have kept it.
Now you look like you really mean Bismuth.
Coming in at number 5, Bubbled. The incredible Season 3 finale. A lot of people think this episode is overrated, but I have to disagree. That was one of the most intense 12 minutes in Steven Universe history. Why? Because it's just Steven and Eyeball floating through the endless vacuum of space. And we got to see how a war veteran feels about Rose Quartz. They absolutely hate her. And Steven learned a valuable lesson, and by extension the audience, that just because you can help somebody doesn't mean they're gonna trust you or like you or even help you. As soon as Steven healed Eyeball, she turned on him. She took the opportunity to strike. He put his guard down and it blew up in his face. And he had to do one of the hardest things ever, throw Eyeball into the abyss of space. And we finally have the full version of Love Like You play in the show, when Steven has an emotional reunion with the Crystal Gems. And let me tell you, the art in this episode was breathtaking. All of the backgrounds in space were incredible eye candy. Especially that panning shot after Steven throws Eyeball in space. And now the gems have a spaceship, which we should see them use in the near future. An amazing episode with emotional stakes, and while we really didn't learn much about Pink Diamond, and it just only raised more questions about Rose, it's one of those episodes where silence really is golden, because not much was going on besides Steven and Eyeball talking. And like I said, the crew made it work very well.
Tell me you don't see the resemblance.
Coming in at number 4, Mindful Education. One of the beginning episodes of Season 4, this should have been the opener. It addresses something the fans have been wondering for a very long time. How does Steven even feel about Eyeball, Jasper, Bismuth, all these things that keep happening to him? And we learn that it is getting to him. This episode was basically all about anxiety. Connie's anxiety, Stevani's anxiety, Steven's anxiety. With an amazing song to boot. With a guest animator from Studio Trigger, this episode was as close to a Steven Universe anime as we're gonna get. At least for a while, until it happens again, because they did say this was their first collaboration. This episode had a better fighting sequence in Super Watermelon Island when Stevani's training with the Hollow Pearls, but it was very short-lived. But it was more fluid, more dynamic, and definitely more anime-like than any fight scene in the show, despite it only lasting a measly few seconds. Hell, I wouldn't mind if that was half the episode itself, but I understand that wasn't the focus of the episode. It was just a framing device. And if Steven's saying I didn't want to hurt anyone just to pull at your heartstrings, I don't know what will. Definitely one of the best episodes of the year, and one I can see myself watching many more times in the future. Mindful Education didn't make it into the top 3, but landed high up on the list.
You have to be honest about how bad it feels so you can move on.
Number 3, Mr. Greg. The show's first musical episode, and man was it powerful. It showed that not every episode has to be plot focused to be a good episode, or even one of the best episodes, because this was one of the best episodes of Steven Universe. I will defend that to the day I die. It addressed something that needed to be addressed, Pearl and Greg, the tension between them, Pearl's resentment against Greg, so many powerful songs, and every song advanced the plot of the episode. Something not all musical episodes of shows remember to do. We finally got some closure between Pearl and Greg, and they take off to a brighter future with each other, as friends. This episode definitely sparked some new shippers. And Both of You is still my favorite song from the episode. A lot of people prefer It's Over Isn't It, but Both of You, Empire City, and It's Over Isn't It is definitely my top 3, in that order. Good job, Rebecca Sugar, the love and care you put into this show, and this episode definitely shows. When this show is over, without a doubt, this episode is going to be one of the most talked about. When people say, so now that it's all said and done, which is the best episode of Steven Universe? I definitely hope to see more musical episodes in the future.
It's over, isn't it? It's over, isn't it?
Coming in at number 2, Message Received. This episode set the foundation and bar of what to expect this year from Steven Universe. After just seeing Blue Diamond in a flashback, it was a huge shock to see Yellow Diamond appear. Well, not really, because the advertisements kind of made it obvious, plus leaks. But you bet your ass if I went in blind, I would have been shocked. Tensions are at an all-time high with Peridot and the Crystal Gems, because she just said, an Earth that's barely an Earth, a completely colonized Earth, would have been better than what we have now. And this episode reveals that she plans to contact Yellow Diamond. It felt like all of her development went right out the window. The tension was there all the way through. And it only got higher when she finally did call Yellow Diamond, and we learned that Peridot did have a change of heart. She doesn't want the Earth gone, she wants to protect it, she wants a compromise between Earth and Homeworld. An alliance of sorts. But of course, Yellow Diamond's not gonna hear it. And finally hearing Yellow Diamond, seeing Yellow Diamond, how she moves, how she acts for the first time, was incredible. It was mind-blowing. And she didn't even do much, it was all just like a FaceTime call. We have her redemption come to a complete circle, the appearance of Yellow Pearl, which is a new fan favorite by many, which I don't really understand, but hey, to each their own. And that scene with Yellow Diamond will never get old. I rewatch that over and over again once a month. Not for any particular reason, I just think it's a really good scene, and it never loses its emotional impact, and the oh shit moment where Peridot calls Yellow Diamond a Claude, and who can forget that face?
Get it.
And before we get to number 1, an honorable mention is Alone at Sea. I'm not going to go as in-depth as I did in my review, but it's really important that Steven Universe portrays the side effects and aftermath of an abusive relationship. The entire episode was built up to that moment. The confrontation between Jasper and Lapis. We saw that Jasper is actually on a mental decline after defusing from Malachite. It's scary, it's creepy, the tension is there, and Lapis stands up for herself, which resonated with many of her fans and survivors of abuse. An incredible episode that unfortunately is going to be forgotten, just because of all the plot episodes we've gotten since then and how much we're getting. I hardly see anyone talk about it anymore, and that's really sad because it was a really good episode, a really important episode. So my number 1 Steven Universe episode of 2016 is Earthlings. I can watch this episode over and over and over again, and it will never get old. That's how you know when you made a great episode. It's definitely my favorite from Season 3. We have the climax of Jasper's arc, her likely last hurrah as an antagonist, the birth of Smoky Quartz, an amazing fusion born from Steven and Amethyst, which also serves as Amethyst's character arc's resolution. Her coming to terms with who she is, that she didn't come out right, but that doesn't make her wrong. We also see the beginning of Jasper's redemption, with her "nobody I fuse with ever wants to stay" line, showing that she does care. While she does many horrible things and can be viewed as a horrible person, there's definitely a conscience in there somewhere. But Jasper, being someone who refuses help, turned down Steven's offer to heal her, and went down the very tragic path of corruption. Again, some wonky art in this episode, especially from Jasper. She kind of looked like a potato at some parts. But still, it hit all the emotional beats. I felt for everybody in this episode, Steven, Amethyst, even Jasper. The action scene between Jasper and Smokey left a lot to be desired, but it was the first time we see Steven actually fuse with a gem, and it was worth the wait. It's not a perfect episode by any regard, but it's definitely one of the best. We had lore, the first name drop of Pink Diamond, character arcs come full circle, and even a sweet line from Peridot.
There's so much life living here. That's what I'm doing. I'm living here.
But these are just all my thoughts, and I definitely want to hear yours, so please comment down below. What was your favorite episodes of Steven Universe in 2016? Let me know. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, it really helps me out. Follow us on social media, and have a happy holidays. Awestruck Vox, signing out.